Hello, it's Pat Walker at Mission Winners, doing an ETF coaching video for everybody. Markets were tough, into the end of the week, and some people say, "God, what do I do? What do I do? I don't know what to do." Well, first off, take a breath. It's not life and death. Secondly, have some rules and tactics and specific approaches to analyzing the markets so you can see if indeed there's any strength anywhere, where there's heavy weakness, and then you start developing a game plan. It's really that simple. One of the things that's really important, have a plan before you need the plan. It just makes it easier. Years ago, I used to teach outdoor survival skills at higher elevations. And I always used to tell people, you better have a plan before you need it. Same situation here. So I'm going to share something with you. Right here's a list of ETFs that I watch. All right? And I'm doing this on a Saturday, so you don't have any up percent here. But what I'd like you to do during the week, take this list, put it in your system, and during the day, sort it by, quote, sort a percent. Quote, sort a percent. Sort it by a percent. You can say, why would you do that? So that you will quickly see strength and weakness for the day. That will help you in your focus on where should I go and what should I avoid. You see an ETF in a sector that's getting killed. Well, guess what? If you own stocks in that sector, you better be careful. Don't put money in it. Buy strength. Don't buy weakness. And don't bottom fish. Don't try to pick the bottom. All right? That's an ego game. Just forget it. All right? I've been doing this since 1985. Just play with the market. Let it guide you. Get in line with it. Life's easier. So here we go. Here's the IBD 50. All right? It's an ETF of, leading stocks. Fell down, bounced off the 50-day, starting to fall again on a pretty big pickup in volume. Notice this. The volume here on this bar is heavier than the selling volume here. So we'll have to watch this and see if it finds support. Let's go on. The next one. Gold miners. Just flopping around, but still above the rising 50. That's a plus. That's something to consider. Gold miners. Gold hanging in there. Now, isn't that interesting? The market's getting spanked around. Gold, kind of a defensive play. A fear factor play, hanging in there. Biotechnology, lost the 50-day. A speculative play, lost the 50-day on volume. Goes sideways a couple of days. Folks, you want to see a great lesson right here? The stock falls on heavy volume. Rises on steadily decreasing volume for a couple of days. Right here and here. Look at the volume, those two bars. Boom, boom, and falls again. Something to remember. Technology's hanging in there. Still hanging in there. Had a good day on Thursday. Down on Friday, but not on heavy volume. Still above the rising 20-day. But let's suppose you own this or you're involved in technology. If it loses the 20-day on volume, that's something to take into consideration, to maybe be a little more cautious. Am I saying it's going to happen? No, I don't know the future, and neither do you. All I can do is watch and act accordingly, but always have a plan. IWM, small caps, dropping, look at this, dropping on a pickup in volume. This is a risk-on ETF industry, small caps. And when they're falling, it's telling you that smart money is taking more of a risk-off approach. There you go. Oil services, below all the moving averages. Folks, here's a valuable lesson for you. You see this? Move on. Oh, I'm going to find some oil service stocks to buy. What? Why? That's an ego game. Buy strength, not weakness. There ain't nothing here. Move on. Software, starting to lose the 50-day. What's the one plus? It's lost the 50-day, but it didn't do it on heavy volume. This has been a leading group. Now, if it starts falling through here on heavy volume, then all of a sudden, you got to start taking a little notice of that and maybe act accordingly with your software stock. NASDAQ, QQQ, gaps up, closes down on heavy volume. Lost the 20-day. Do we freak out? No, but this volume isn't mom and dad selling, and this ain't Uncle Ernie selling. This is serious. It's something we'll have to watch going forward. Steel. Do I really need to say much about that? Don't waste your time. Move on. So I will. Semiconductors, which have been leading, reversed, lost the 20-day, goes sideways on decreasing volume, falls, but bounces off the 50-day on Thursday, but then on Friday, gaps down and loses the 50-day. Semiconductors. Well, something to bear watching. Maybe semiconductors are going to lose leadership, but then maybe it'll bounce back above the 50-day. Still a leading group, okay? Here's the spiders down to the 50-day on heavy volume. Heavy selling there. Loses the 50-day. Could be a little bit more cautious with your stocks. Solar still strong, but it did fall and lost the 20-day on a pickup in volume. But it's still above the rising 50. Solar. Small cap, just like IWM, nothing. Oil. Folks, just make it easy on yourself. If you see this, avoid it. Avoid it. Oh, it might be near a bottom. Buy strength. Don't look to buy strength and weakness. It's weak. Aerospace ran up, it's right at the 50-day on a pickup in volume. After the incidents that have happened, overseas, this kind of took a good spike up. So we'll have to watch it and see what happens. Home builders falling, still above the rising 50, a little bit below the rising 20-day. But it's been a decent group, leading group. Basic materials, losing the 200-day on volume. Is this good? I'll just put it this way. Are you going to see this chart in any books saying, this is what you want to look for buying? No, you're not. Move on. Communications support at the 50-day. See if it loses the 50-day. A technology-oriented sector. Energy. What do we say? We say that it's bad, and I'm keeping it clean. Financials lost the 50-day, starting to fall, still hanging near the 50-day. Let's see if it starts falling further. But what's it tell you right now? Hey, stay away from me. Industrials lost the 50-day on heavy volume. Industrials. Watch this and see if it can regain the 50-day. XLK, a technology. We own quite a few good technology stocks with good gains, okay? Microsoft, we got rid of our last Google. Microsoft, Apple, they've been good to us. This is still above the rising 20-day. Now look at this though. Look at the volume selling here. Then look at the heavier volume selling here on Friday. Starts to lose this. Maybe it's going to have a visit down to the 50-day. What will that tell you? Beware of your technology stocks. Consumer staples, boy, oh boy, bearish engulfing bar right there. Still above the moving averages, but that's a bar that they bought it up and they sold it down. Got to be careful with that. Utilities, still hanging in there. What does that tell you? Utilities, kind of a defensive play. We're seeing some leading technology groups fall, and we're seeing utilities hang in. Maybe smart money's moving into a more defensive posture. Something worth watching. Healthcare was hanging in, lost the 50-day. If you own healthcare stocks, be careful. You might need a shot. Okay, just kidding. I'm sorry. Consumer discretionary, hanging in here, but this bar right here, you can say, oh, that's a green bar. That's a good bar. Every bar talks. I'm going to show you something. Note the open, note the high, note the low, note the close. This thing gapped up, ran up, and dropped and closed in the bottom fifth of its range on serious volume. So you can say it's a green bar. They sold into that bar. There's a good lesson for you. Let's continue onward. Metals and mining. Move on. There's nothing here. Retail, starting to lose some of its leadership here. Is it going to fall through the 200-day? What does that tell us? Be a little careful with retailing. And then finally, software, another software ETF that's hanging in okay. That's good. What does that tell us? An area to focus on? Some technology in the software is still fairly strong. Just a little bit below the 20-day. Now, if it keeps continuing on, then you've got a potential problem. And it means be careful with your software stocks. What's the plus? It fell on low volume, but it was a pickup in volume. So just something to bear watching. Now, you can say, Pat, that was 9 minutes. This list of ETFs sorted during the day by quote sort of percent. You will train your eyes and mind. You can go through these, 24 ETFs or whatever it is, in literally a minute to a minute and a half, and you've got great information, which is power, on where there's strength, where there's weakness, what to focus on, and what to avoid. And these are the things we teach, and these are the things we do at Mission Winners to give a leg up on what's happening. And I thank you.